Alright, hello everybody, and welcome to the Monday Night War. This is week 75 for the WWF side. Ratings for this week were at 2.5 for Raw, 3.0 for Nitro. WCW wins for the 38th week in a row. So after this week's loss, the total scoreboard is 17 wins for the WWF, 56 losses, and 2 draws all time. It went on the Monday Night Raw. It went on from March 24th, 1997, live on the USA Network. That Raw that lost with a 2.5 rating was brought to you by Vince McMahon, JR, and The King. This is the first Raw after WrestleMania 13 from Rockford, Illinois at the Metro Center. We opened with a lot of excitement at being the night after Mania and all. It's not like what it was today back then, the night after Mania, but it was still a good show to be the night after Mania. This is just the third episode with the Thorne and Uri Raw's War theme. The first thing we see is the Raw intro, which is badass again. Third week in a row that the Thorne and Uri pyros go off and everybody's jacked and they all know the intro now, so it's a little bit more familiar. A sea of Austin 316 shirts in the crowd. That just continues to get more and more as the weeks go on in 1997. I remember the June 1997 King of the Ring event, McMahon goes, "I know, that's right," when JR talks about the Austin 316 shirts being everywhere. McMahon goes, "I know, that's right." We're going to see Mankind here tonight. We're going to see Shawn, Bret, Taker, everybody but Austin pretty much, which sucks because I wanted to see Steve Austin as a face again, like the first appearance of him as a face on Raw. I forgot what it looked like, but I guess we'll have to wait till next week to see that. Recovering, obviously, from his injuries. Farouk was also injured in the Chicago street fight, so Farouk's not on the show as well, but I think that omission is decent. I think no one's going to have a problem with that one. No, we love Ron Simmons, but we could do without a Nation Farouk for one episode. Bulldog and Owen defends the titles against the Headbangers. The Headbangers won a fatal four-way that kicked off WrestleMania last night that got them the decision to get the number one contendership for this match. So that's key. Davey Boy Smith and Owen defended the tag titles against Mankind and Vader the night before. Davey Boy Smith in a headlock by Thrasher, and Owen accidentally hits Bulldog off the apron, so there's dysfunction in the team between the champs. Owen Hart leaves the match temporarily and comes back to the apron, but he's mad at the Bulldog. Bulldog was left alone for a moment, and Owen Hart made a return for the titles because he's still got the titles. After more tag team action, Davey Boy shoved Earl Hebner, which disqualified the team. And after the match, the Bulldog and Owen got into a shoving match, showing that they're still a dysfunctional team. It resulted in Bulldog tackling Owen down. Owen and the Bulldog went at it with right hands to both guys. Owen challenged the Bulldog for the European title, and Owen cuts a heel promo on him. I gave the match a star in 3/4. Hunter Hearst Helmsley took apart Bart Gun. China on the outside was a big story. Helmsley slapped away at Bart. He had his way with Bart Gun in this match. Bart Gun with a lariat using the top rope with a sloppy shoulder block, followed by a clothesline and an awkward reverse elbow. Bart Gun didn't look good in this match. Triple H just took him apart. Power slammed him off the side ropes. Bart went to the ropes for a Bulldog perhaps, but China pulled the ropes and Bart Gun fell through the ropes to the floor. Triple H then got him in the ring and pedigreed him and got the victory at 7:16. I gave it a star and a half. Next up, we got a midget tag team match. Los Cadetes del Espacio, Discovery, Supernova, and Venom. Their name is Los Cadetes del Espacio. Versus Abismo Negro, El Mosco, and Hysteria. Frequent tags and high flying is what you get here from this AAA tag team midget match. Supernova with a Hurricane Rana when his partner hit a somersault plancha to the outside. Nova with a missile dropkick, and then another amazing Hurricane Rana gets him to the victory. Los Cadetes del Espacio wins after some fine action. 2 stars. They show Rocky Maivia with Rocky Johnson last night, hugging about and talking about how that'll be the last time his father helps him out, The Rock said. Or Rocky Maivia said. Last night at this WrestleMania, I say last night because it's the night before. The night before last night at WrestleMania is the first time I saw Rocky Sucks chants. I didn't see them on Raws before that. Funk with a side suplex. 450 splash as he takes on the Brooklyn Brawler here. Funk gets him in the corner at the armbar fall-away slam. Funk then slingshot from the back. Gets across the body basically and beats the Brooklyn Brawler with a 450 splash off the top. Funk wins at 307. I gave the match a star just for Scorpio's in-ring prowess. He's pretty good in there. Shamrock explains why he stopped the match between Austin and Hart in a backstage segment. Then we get the highlight of the show, which is a Jim Ross interview with Bret Hart in the middle of the ring. This is Bret's official heel turn. The heel turn was done brilliant the night before, the double turn, but this is his official heel turn start. Hart says he apologizes to everyone in Europe, Germany, and he names all the places in Europe, Germany, England, and then he names other countries, and then he says, and especially to my fans in Canada. And then he says, and I apologize to you American fans, and what I apologize to you American fans is nothing, and the crowd boo. And he says, you Americans cheer Austin like he won the match. Bret says it goes back to Mania last year when HBK screwed me out of the title. And Bret says someone, and then he goes on to what he's been through the last year and how he's been screwed. Bret says someone that poses for a girly magazine, you cheer him. And then he says, I don't think it was a girly magazine. I think it was a gay magazine. Wow. I can't believe they were allowed to say that. That's what he said on the microphone. Amazing that a line like that was accepted back then. Bret says he battled Sid. HBK cost him the title. Then when Bret beat Austin, they cheer him and not him. Bret with a great transition, talking about being screwed in the Rumble, then in the cage match, then in the Final Four, he talks about winning it. And then they keep filming McMahon's reactions to all these things. McMahon, as a commentator, is just looking like a sad owner, which he was. To how he got screwed by Austin in the match with Sid the night after the Final Four, all the way to the cage match where he got screwed by the Undertaker. So he's just been screwed repeatedly. At the Royal Rumble when he was screwed, when he won it, but he didn't win it. Bret says, from this point forward, the American wrestling fans can kiss my ass. Just the way Bret said it was funny. HBK comes out and says, yo, Hitman. Talks trash to Bret and talks about how Austin is tough, SOB. HBK calls him a mark and says, you like this place because you're obsessed with it. I like this place. You are obsessed with it. And he says, you seem to think this is all about you. And he says, in this great country of America, we have freedom of expression. And we have a saying, Bret, if you don't like it, leave it. Bret says, HBK boy toy, I think you should get the hell out of my face. Then HBK says, how would you know I was in that magazine? You just couldn't help but flip the couple of pages, could you? Then Bret attacks Shawn by the knee and gives him a figure four around the ring post to prolong Shawn's absence and heat up the feud between Bret and HBK. They were planning on an HBK Bret match at King of the Ring 97. Now that there's no title in there. So King of the Ring 97 was supposed to be Bret versus Shawn, but plans got scrapped again. But that's why in the next couple months you'll see Bret and Shawn feud with each other, because they were planning the June King of the Ring 97 match that never happened. Rocky Maivia took on Leaf Cassidy after this. He got the victory in a basic match, but Bret Hart came out and attacked him, so that's why he wins. He wanted the crossbody off the top, but Bret came out and attacked The Rock after being on commentary saying, look at this. And I rated the match a star, but he just basically beat on The Rock's legs. Savio Vega took on Amed Johnson in the main event. Savio Vega with a deep headlock. Vega with a high thrust kick to Amed Johnson. Vega with a headlock on Amed Johnson. Amed starts to warrior or Tatanka up. You know how you run to go like this and shake your head while the opponent's beating on you with his fist. A forearm, then a spine buster. He looked for the Pearl River plunge, but Crush dragged Savio out of the ring, and Amed was disqualified at 8 minutes. Or he wins by disqualification at 8 minutes. He has the 2x4 in case the Nation tried any funny business, or rated it a quarter of a star. The Undertaker came out for a closing the show promo. The new WWF champion, McMahon, congratulates him. He has somewhat of a new vest and a cowboy hat look, does the Undertaker. He thanks Sid for being a man, and he thanks his Creatures of the Night for having him as a title. And McMahon says, what about Mankind, the number one contender? Then Paul Bearer comes out on the entrance and says, Paul Bearer says, I need to talk to you, dead man. And then Mankind shows up on the Titantron saying, Uncle Paul. And we don't get anything. The show cuts the feed right there. So we don't get an explanation about what Paul Bearer was saying to The Undertaker or what Mankind was going to say. It just cut the feed. So hopefully we have answers to that next week. Same with next week, we see Steve Austin as a face. So I gave this Raw a 5 out of 10. We'll see what next week's Raw does. I'm Brett Mix, and I'm out.